It's a pleasure being here today. Thank you to the fantastic Opes team, Carmen, Stefano, Giovanni, Elena, for giving us the opportunity to be here to share our stories. The Copia story is only 2 years in the making, but it is an important story nonetheless, as it highlights the power of impact investing to financially unlock an untapped market while making tremendous social impact. Today, I will ask you to allow me to tell you the story of Wanjiru and Lucy. These are two women living at the base of the pyramid, whose lives have been significantly enhanced ever since Copia began operating in their village. Wanjiru, she is a Copia customer, and Lucy is a Copia agent in the village that Wanjiru lives in. You see, Wanjiru and Lucy may live on $2 a day or less, but just like any family in the West, they must buy goods to meet their family's day-to-day needs. But because they have very little money and there is very poor infrastructure in the areas where they live, mass retailers who have the buying power with suppliers to give consumers access to goods at reasonable prices tend to neglect Wanjiru and Lucy. Wanjiru therefore has to travel miles, often to get these products, or if Lucy has managed to stock them in her shop, Wanjiru has to pay much higher prices for the same goods than her wealthier counterparts who are living in the cities. I think everyone here will agree with me that there is something incredibly unfair about that. Worse still, the single product manufacturers of fantastic life-enhancing products, such as energy-efficient stoves, solar lamps, water purifiers, the reusable sanitary pads that Irene just so powerfully told us about, have a difficult time reaching her. Copia is changing that. Wanjiru now shops for all her basic necessities from Copia, getting quality goods at reasonable prices right in her village. Today, she is making her final payment for an energy-efficient stove. Lucy, on the other hand, without having to buy inventory, has significantly boosted her income. She no longer worries about how she will pay school fees or buy books for her 2 children. In terms of the potential impact of this model, I think the numbers speak for themselves. Copia launched in September 2012 as a pilot. And even though we limited our expansion so that we can really understand our operations, we have been able to increase our agents' average income by 57%. We have served over 2,500 customers. We have sold products worth over $800,000 US, with each month showing a steady increase in sales. The potential for everyone, investor and end consumer, is enormous. So let me tell you what this Copia that I'm talking about, what it is. It's an innovative demand aggregation distribution model, which basically uses mobile technology, which is everywhere in the developing world, very advanced in Kenya, and catalogs to enable small kiosk owners who live in these poor areas that do not have access to goods to serve the local population with a wide variety of quality goods and at reasonable prices. What we do to enable this is we selectively go into these areas and find trustworthy agents who are usually small business owners who have lived in that community for a while. The customers who live in the areas where these agents are can now visit the agent location, browse the catalog, and place orders for the goods that they need at the agent's shop. The agent will then use their mobile phone to send a specialized text message through a system that we developed over the last 18 months. The agents will send us money via a mobile payment system. We receive the order, and we deliver it to the agent's location within 48 hours to 72 hours, depending on what the product is. In the event that the customer cannot pay up front, which does happen in these communities, we also have developed what we call a layaway program, which allows the consumer to make small payments, almost like a savings account, until they have paid in full, at which point we deliver the goods to the customer. To even better serve our customers, we are now currently testing an electronic version of that catalog, The electronic version will basically enable agents to place orders directly from a tablet computer, and it will also enable us to educate the consumer on the value of life-enhancing products such as energy-efficient stoves, using product videos that we will shoot specifically to target this market, and that will be located at the agent locations. I'll tell you why I think this is a great business. In essence, we're aggregating the demand in these poor, underserved markets, lowering the per unit distribution cost to provide convenient, affordable access to products, all of which improve lives, many of which are labeled socially beneficial by the West. My name is Crispin Murira. I am the CEO of Copia. I grew up in Nairobi until I was 17 years old. And at that time, I had the opportunity to go to school in the United States. Economic opportunities in Kenya at that point were not great. And I remember the message that my parents told me is, you have this opportunity, go make a life for yourself. And I was 17, I took that message to heart. I went out, I did very well for myself, went to some of the best schools in the world, worked for some of the best institutions in the world, and I was comfortable. I visited home in 2010, after many years, and I was visiting my cousins in the village, and I just felt humbled by the opportunities that I had been privileged to have, given where I was coming from. And it really touched me. All those years living a very comfortable life in the United States had put me in some sort of bubble, and I felt had made me forget where I came from. I also noticed that there was a tremendous business opportunity in these markets. I mean, I saw it all around me. And it dawned on me that due to my experiences on both sides of the divide, I was in a position to connect global investors, who I spoke the same language with, given where I'd gone to school and what I had done, and the opportunity at the economic base of the pyramid in a way that was a win for both. These ladies, Wanjiru and Lucy, they're my aunt, they're my cousin, they're my grandmother. And nothing made more sense to me than unlocking the business potential to investors while raising their standard of living. I therefore started seeking ways to do just that, and was fortunate to shortly thereafter connect with Tracy Turner, who is a prolific social entrepreneur, and Jonathan Lewis, who is a leading voice in eliminating poverty. I moved to Nairobi not long after that, and in April 2012, launched the Copia pilot, and we are where we are today. Even though we take a very modern startup approach to running this business, testing hypotheses on different ways to achieve what works and what doesn't, dropping what doesn't work, and have therefore moved rather methodically, I am nevertheless very proud of what we have achieved to date. And I'm very heartened by the potential that I see for us to make a significant difference to the lives of the millions of women and families living at the base of the economic pyramid that Wamboi and Lucy represent. Thank you very much.